let's go out to Danville, Illinois, and talk to Jane. What's up, Jane?
Hey, what's up?
Partying. What are you doing?
Sitting here chatting with you. I have a question.
Okay, what's up?
Okay, so one morning I was listening to your podcast, and you said, we marry our unfinished business. And I have never heard anyone say that before, and I was wondering if you could explain what that means.
Oh, yeah. I would love to. That's a great question. So I don't even remember when I said that. I've probably said that multiple times on this show. Some would go as far as to say it is a nervous system wiring. It's that deeply embedded in you. But I know it's common vernacular among therapists, particularly relationship therapists. And here's the idea. Let's say you're a little girl. Let's do this. Let's make you the example. Can we make you the example, Jane?
Sure.
Okay. Tell me about how you grew up. Tell me about your dad.
Okay, I didn't meet my dad until I was in my 30s.
Okay.
And
what happened? Where'd he go?
I don't know. I met him. I flew out to Colorado to meet him, and then he came back to Illinois to visit for a little bit.
No. Why did he leave you in the first place? Why did a husband, why did a dad abandon the most precious thing on planet Earth, which is a little girl?
What I was told from my mom was that when she told him that she was pregnant, he left.
Okay.
So I never knew him my whole life. My aunt found a newspaper clipping, and she sent it to me when I was in my 30s and said, I think these are your grandparents. And so I looked them up. They live in the same hometown that I grew up in. I don't live in that hometown anymore. And so found him, got in touch with him. Things were great. Flew out to Colorado, met him. And then, I came back home, obviously, and then he came for a visit to Illinois. And we exchanged letters, and he would send gifts for me and my husband and my kids and things like that. And that went on for a little while. And then he started, I don't know, it was really weird. He wanted to come and visit me, but he would call me and ask me questions about my mom, and then he would call my mom and ask her questions about me. And she told him, if you're just coming to get with me, then stay where you're at. But if you're coming to see Jane, then I'll, absolutely come and visit her. And he was coming to visit me, but he would call me and ask me if he would be okay to stay with my mom. So it was really weird. So when she told him that, he never contacted me ever again. And so I haven't heard from him since. And I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I've lived 30 years without him. I've not, I don't think about it anymore. I figure, I found out what I needed to know about my past on his side of the family.
Okay.
I did meet my grandparents. They were wonderful people. And I'm just really grateful that I grew up with my mom and her parents and not the other way around. So
awesome. So tell me about your mom.
Too much of it. My mom, she just passed away a little over a year ago. In April, it'll be 2 years. And she had 3 kids by 3 different people. She was married, but the people that she was married to was not the fathers of any of us.
So did you have a household of stepdads?
Not a whole lot.
Okay.
Maybe 2 or 3.
Okay.
One of them wasn't for very long. Mainly we grew up, my mom lived with her parents. So my entire life until I moved out for college, I lived with my grandparents and my mom.
Okay. So I'm going to take a wild, these kind of statements, like you marry your unfinished business, those aren't always etched in concrete, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it would not be uncommon for someone who had experienced the life you experienced, and I want to be real clear to the listener, Jane, can you and I just talk like super, no one's listening to us except for a couple million people? Is that cool? Real quick, just a private to the side.
Yeah.
You gave me the very sanitized version of your childhood. Fair?
Yes. Very sanitized, yeah.
Very, very sanitized. Okay. So it would not be uncommon for someone who grew up in the home that you grew up in to very much be a pursuer and a people pleaser, someone who made sure everybody else was okay.
Oh, yeah. That's me 100%.
Okay. So when I say you marry your unfinished business, the sentiment is your nervous system, this isn't a character issue or what, your body is asking, what was so bad about me that guy left all those years ago?
Right.
What was so bad about me that stepdad A came in for just a little bit and hung out with me and then took off? Was I not good enough for him either? And then what happens is your body asks that question over and over and over and over and over again. What about me? What is so bad about me? And you start to solve that problem. Nobody will have any sweat on their glasses. I'm going to wipe it all off. Everyone's going to have a meal in front of them. The laundry's going to be done. I am going to be, without thinking it, without meaning to, you find yourself in another romantic relationship where you're chasing. And you end up trying to prove yourself to somebody else and to somebody else and to somebody else. No, I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I promise I'm worth it. I promise I'm worth it.
Okay.
And so that doesn't mean that's who you end up with over time. That doesn't mean that plays its way out in every situation. But if you, Jane, have found yourself exhausted in marriage over the last 15, 20, 30 years, or you've got kids now that you love your husband, but not one person has ever asked, Jane, what do you want to do? Then there might be worth asking, have you spent your adult life trying to make sure that nobody ever leaves you again? Even if that cost you the things that you were really interested in, the big curious questions about how the universe worked that you wanted to pursue, but you were too busy making sure everybody else could pursue them. And that may not be you. I don't want to cast that on you, but I'm just using you as an example of that would be marrying your unfinished business. Okay. And sometimes you marry somebody who's amazing and he'll never leave. Mm-hmm. Often people who went through what you went through as a kid are on marriage number 4. Because they marry people who leave and they try so desperately to solve that. And they can't because it was never their problem to begin with. Your dad left because something was wrong with that dude, not you.
Yeah.
How's that ringing true?
The husband part, he's my first husband. Mm-hmm. We've been married for 28 years and 29 years. We just had an anniversary in November.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And but the people pleaser, definitely, that is 100% me. I'm very much a people pleaser. I'll apologize for things that just to keep the peace.
There you go.
Like, yeah. But yeah, like, I know my sister and I have different views on the way we see my mom as we grew up. So I don't know. I'm just always like trying to see the positive of things. Mm-hmm.
And here's the deal. You're probably both right, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are probably
we are
both right. Yeah.
We are, because I agree with what she says. But I guess I just choose to see the positive and not dwell on the negative.
And what I would tell you is when I say something like your body knows, mm-hmm. you go looking every day for the most positive attribute your mom has. Because why not? Mm-hmm. Right? Why not? What is just at this stage in the game, what is revisiting all this ugly going to do? Right?
Right.
Let's find the positive and let's sit on that. There's some real value in that. But you have to honor both sides of the ledger because your body is still trying to protect you all the time. So if your mom was unstable, yet she showed up and provided. If your mom paraded a bunch of unsafe men through your house, through a household of little girls, but man, we never missed a freaking meal. Both things are true. And there's some safety in that where you exhale and drop your shoulders and you're like, oh, I'm never going to miss a meal with her. The heat is never going to get turned off because she works her butt off. She'll do whatever it takes. And there's a high alert in your nervous system waiting for who's coming in the door next. Or in your case, who's going to leave next.
I do get very, I know my kids have pointed out to me a lot that I get very judgmental.
Okay.
When, or not judgmental, but defensive when somebody judges me. I get very, very defensive.
Because that's all you got. Because if you're found to be less than, boom, now they have reason to go, which is your body's worst possible fear. It sounds like you did not marry your unfinished business, so kudos to you. Did you marry an amazing guy?
That's good. Huh?
Did you marry an amazing man?
Yes.
Awesome.
I mean, he's not perfect, but I'm not perfect, so.
I mean, I am. So, I mean, y'all two, of course, none of us are, right? None of us are.
No,
none of us
course. But no, he's a great husband, great father.
Awesome. The idea, so, hey, great question. The idea of marrying your unfinished business is those core issues that came up when we were kids. Why did you leave? How did I make you so angry that you had to hit me that much? Why was perfection? Why were my grades and how nice my bed was made? Why was that more important than you hugging me? Those things get wired into us, and we go looking to solve that problem down the road. And I'll keep saying this till I'm blue in the face. That problem is never the kid. It's always the adult in the room. And then we often crash into a spouse and our body goes, this one feels familiar. I'll solve this one. This guy's really aggressive and I see how angry he is, but I'm going to be so loving he won't hit me. I'm going to fix this cosmic loop. And then bam. This guy, I could tell, man. I could feel it. He leaves, he cheats. He's not going to cheat on me. I'm going to be the most perfect wife who ever existed. My dad cheated on my mom. My granddad cheated on my grandmother. It stops with me. And that dude goes and cheats too. Because your body's solving for homeostasis and safety all the time. And those two things collide. Great question, Jane. Thank you so much. I want to tell you, man, I'm proud of you. Because for as sanitized as you told it, you grew up in a really tough environment. And it sounds like, of course you're not perfect, but it sounds like you stood in front of the fire and you've changed things for your family. And you've got a steady marriage over 30 years. You got grown kids. I'm proud of you. You've given your kids a chance to continue to change that legacy into something that's going to be beautiful. You planted seeds to trees you're never going to get to eat the fruit of. I'm proud of you, Jane.